Are you kidding me? A woman that rebounds and shows up half naked to games?
But keep your spirits up, because you're at a decisive advantage, Angel Reese. You're at a decisive advantage because they made the mistake of letting you know who they are, whoever those people are.
It is so wild to me that even with all the new fame, money, television viewership, sold out arenas, increase in merch sales, all of this media attention that is now on the WNBA, the most that they have ever seen in years, there are still women within the WNBA who have so much to complain about.
After promoting hate for Caitlin Clark and her supporters on her most recent podcast, Angel Reese was just publicly humiliated. Angel would undoubtedly win the gold medal if there was an Olympic competition dedicated to making race the central theme of everything. In her perspective, the race card is the only thing that matters, not bad plays or missed opportunities. However, let's face it, Caitlin supporters aren't seated there with an odd skin tone scoreboard. It's not because she's white that Caitlin Clark is rising to the top of the WNBA, rather, it's because of her skill. She is influencing Larry Bird, she's killing it on the court, which is why they're into her. Angel is preoccupied with crafting her own story, but the specialists are preparing receipts that might demolish her more forcefully than one of her airballs. Experts are emerging from the shadows while Angel Reese is making waves once more, by claiming that the supporters of Caitlin Clark are racist this time. Yes, Reese's accusations that Clark's fans are intimidating and even following her have really taken it to a whole new level. Let's pause for a moment though. Where is the evidence? Nothing, not even screenshots or receipts. It almost seems as though Angel is making these charges in order to divert attention from the true problem. Clark's quick assent while Reese finds it difficult to keep up. Reese is trying to turn the discussion onto race and make it a more contentious topic rather than recognizing Clark's extraordinary talent. Jason Whitlock is the next, and he wasn't subtle about it. Whitlock jumped right in, accusing Reese of being more interested in playing the victim than in the game itself. I take it to mean that she is discussing the media. We're trying to pull her down, is what she's trying to communicate. If that's not the case, then stop attempting to act like you're at ease playing this villain when it's obvious that you're not, Angel. Instead, try to express yourself more clearly. We're praying for you, Angel, as he called out her retreat from the media and her hasty leap to social media. His statements were fairly brutal. Whitlock, though, isn't buying it. Reese isn't a victim, she's just playing into this narrative to deflect from the very genuine criticism she faces for her actions both on and off the court, he stated bluntly. Then he gave her a severe tongue lashing for only grudgingly accepting the villainous character. His counsel: own it if you're going to be the antagonist. People who cover and discuss sports like Dave Portnoy and Jason Whitlock have been drawn to this deal by Caitlin Clark. We're not idly speculating about how to elevate women's basketball and elevate each player to the status of Mother Teresa and the greatest athlete of all time. She's no longer merely existing, instead she's become a reality, a lovely female. The truth is seldom told to her. Avoid acting as though you're uneasy in the part by dancing around it. Whitlock's main takeaway was to stop acting as though you're okay with playing the bad guy when it's obvious you're struggling. Naturally, Stephen A. Smith was also unable to remain silent about this catastrophe. Caitlin Clark is the real deal. She's also extremely very marketable, white, and a fantastic skill. She is the WNBA's golden goose because of the combination of the two. He landed with the same force, but from a different angle. Smith brought up the fact that Reese is constantly creating drama. Caitlin Clark, in the meantime, is outside taking abuse from the haters, but she doesn't let it get to her. Specifically, Clark's method of replying: simply keep smashing records and let her gameplay speak for itself. Furthermore, Stephen A. was aware that Clark is not just excellent, but also marketable. She's breaking in the sponsors and fans, much like the WNBA's golden goose. Yes, perhaps there's more to that than just the fact that she's a brilliant white talent. However, as Smith said, Clark's unique combination of brilliance and marketability is what sets her apart. However, all of those feelings, envy, hatred, or jealousy, are justified since long before Caitlin Clark was born. These individuals were putting in a lot of effort and suffering to raise the WNBA's prominence. And yet, we aren't given that kind of acknowledgement or gratitude. But Smith went a step farther. He believes there's more to Reese's jealousy than Clark. Reese believes that all the credit Caitlin is receiving ought to have gone to those who came before her, including herself, he claimed. However, Caitlyn is a once-in-a-generation talent, let's face it. It comes down to skill, not race. And while we're on the subject of competence, how about September 16th, 2024? With 761 points at the end of the season, Clark easily shattered Simone Augustus' rookie scoring record. Come on, I mean, Reese can make every effort to minimize it, but the figures tell a bigger story. Reese is stuck trying to change history to suit her interests, while Clark is writing history. Fair is a place where they judge pigs, as my boy Jeff always says. It isn't real. It is not a matter of equity. It has to do with reality. In actuality, a player's maximum contract in the WNBA at this specific time is $250,000. Caitlyn Clark has already agreed to sign endorsement deals of $28 million, in any case. And the real deal is this. Reese has made numerous attempts to include Clark in this drama centered around race, but Clark has remained silent. She's not giving in to the petty behavior. She is merely performing at a very high caliber and letting her talent speak for itself. Reese's constant deflection and whining, in the meantime, is simply serving to highlight the disparity between the two players. Take a look at the record ratings her arrival generated. At the moment they were watching, the Indiana FIFA game viewership was approximately $4,000. It is currently between $16,000 and $17,000 and $17,000. The highest ever ratings for a WNBA draft, $2.446 million, was received. The season's first doubleheader. Whitlock and Smith do, however, concur on one point. The rise in WNBA viewing can be attributed to Caitlyn Clark. It is unrelated to skin tone. It's all about Clark lighting up arenas, smashing records, and winning over basketball fans worldwide. Ultimately, it's hard to overlook Clark's success, so Reese's attempts to make this a race issue are futile. Brought in over 1.5 million viewers, more than the Women's National Basketball Association had in over 20 years. All of this is happening to you. Recognize that Caitlyn Clark is unique. We are not discussing justice. Raquel Annemarie, on the other hand, didn't hold back while discussing Angel Reese's constant fixation with drawing comparisons between herself and Caitlyn Clark. Rim. According to this graph created by Stephen Gio, Angel Reese is shooting 43.8% of his shots when they are made within 5 feet of the hoop. That is the WNBA's poorest percentage by a wide margin. Rachel really did lay it out there, exposing Reese for consuming negativity as her primary source of energy. Reese appears far more interested in trying to undermine Clark than she does in putting in the effort to raise her game. And for what purpose? Rachel made it plain. All this comparison game is a lousy diversion, and that's all it is. Reese is making noise and attempting to portray herself as the victim, but there isn't any solid evidence to support these claims. She seems to have a checklist for controversy virtually. She is always making a big deal out of herself, while Clark is over there quietly setting records. They have to despise the other player right away because they are in love with that one. And with these two women, we can see that on both sides. They are both young, 20-something women playing in their debut WNBA season, and they are receiving more attention than any other player in the league's history. Rachel, though, didn't stop there. Alas, she went too far, highlighting how Reese's fixation on making everything about race is really detrimental to her own argument. Reese is shifting the topic away from basketball and toward an alleged racial remark. In the meantime, Clark is continuing to do what she does best, being a once-in-a-generation player who breaks records, inspires her team to victory, and draws attention to the WNBA. Now for Skip Bayless, who naturally felt he had something to say, as Caitlyn was en route to breaking the record for the most turnover in a single season. With 15 games remaining, I believe she broke it. She now leads the next lady in the WNBA in turnovers by over 70. As always, Bayless went above and above. He called out Reese for disparaging Clark's fan base without providing any evidence of racism, without sugarcoating a single detail. This has nothing to do with race or fans, according to Bayless. Reese is projecting her own fears onto the situation. Reese continues to accuse Clark's fans of harassing her and racializing her. Where is the proof, though? It seems as though Reese is creating drama out of thin air, and Bayless was not amused. Then, since Skip was Skip, he ripped on Reese for transforming their rivalry, which may have been healthy and competitive, into a whole social media circus. Reese is too preoccupied with playing the victim and generating controversy to pay attention to the game. Bayless went so far as to say that this is harming Reese's reputation in general. The WNBA's overall credibility is being damaged by it. Clark is out here altering the game while Reese is preoccupied with her claims. And for some reason, rather than talking on Clark's genuine real-life prowess on the court, the debate is still about Reese's drama. This is about white people thinking that because Caitlyn is white, she is better according to the Black Stars. I understand that. Thank you very much.